WCBI and My Mississippi bring you the End Zone 2, presented by Ottibbeha County Hospital. The WCBI sports team, along with our expert sports panel, featuring Matt Wyatt, former MSU starting quarterback in the 1998 SEC West champions; Freddie Millens, former Alabama wide receiver, starter for the 1999 SEC champs; and John Darnell, former Ole Miss starting quarterback in the '89 Liberty Bowl, bring you a special edition of the End Zone, previewing the biggest and most talked about college and high school matchups in the South. The End Zone 2 is presented by Ottibbeha County Hospital, devoted to your health. You're in the zone. The End Zone 2.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the End Zone 2, presented by OCH Sports Medicine Services alongside Drew Powell. I'm Derek Cody, and Drew, I tell you what, for a 30-minute college football show, we couldn't have picked a better week to start talking about.
We thought we had great games on tap last week. Wait till we see the lineup for this week, as all our teams are going to be in action, and it doesn't get any bigger than this.
And we have a lot to talk about from this past week as well. And with that, we're going to bring in our expert panel, starting with the guy on the left, former Ole Miss quarterback John Darnell, quarterback of the '89 Liberty Bowl champions. John, thanks for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me. I think we could pick a better week to start, but we'll go ahead and go with it.
All right, and also the guy sitting next to him, I hope John and Matt don't get in any fights tonight. Matt Wyatt, quarterback of the Mississippi State Bulldogs in the late '90s, also joined by former Alabama wide receiver Freddie Millens. Matt and Freddie, thanks for joining us this week.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
All right, guys, let's get right to it. One of the big things we've been talking about coming into the preseason and this college football season are the coaching situations at each school. And Matt, we'll start with you. There was a lot of grumbling in Starkville about Mississippi State and head coach Sylvester Croom. With their win over Auburn this past Saturday, what does that do for Sylvester Croom's future at Mississippi State?
I think the best way to describe it is, Coach Croom probably now has got a little bit of the monkey off his back for the time being, and maybe Coach Tuberville over at Auburn is now experiencing a little bit of what Coach Croom has been dealing with over the last year or so, with everybody kind of chowing down, wanting to know, is he going to be the coach much longer this season or next season? That's kind of what Coach Croom had folks talking about him, over the off season, over the wintertime, and in the early part of the season, and especially after the blowout loss at home to LSU to start the season. But the win over Auburn puts all of that at bay for the time being for Coach Croom, and fortunately for him, he doesn't have to hear it at least for another week or so.
Well, now, as alumni, how are you pleased with the way that he's running the program and the way he's doing things?
Well, absolutely, Derek. I mean, it's one of those things where anytime you come in and you start over and you're changing the way you do things, you got a brand new coach, you have that turnover, it takes time, and it certainly has taken some time at Mississippi State. The end results, are still out there. We don't know what the end result is going to be. But certainly to the start of the 2007 season, you look at the Bulldogs and you look at Coach Croom and you say, hey, he's doing a good job and he's got them believing and got them a 2-1 record and 1-1 even in the SEC so far.
All right, now let's bring in John Darnell. And John, much the same situation in Oxford with Ole Miss and Ed Orgeron. As an alumni, what do you think about Ed Orgeron and the job he's done with Ole Miss?
Well, this year, he comes into this week as having an 8-18 record, I think, is a win-loss record. So, as an alumni, I really want to see that big win come, like the Mississippi State win over Auburn. And, you got Florida coming in. It's a great opportunity for Ole Miss this week to come out and play better than they did against Vandy and maybe get that big win. I mean, Florida's number 2 team in the country, and what better way to start than to knock off them this week?
Absolutely. And Freddie, we've been talking a lot about this guy. In fact, I think about everyone in the country has been talking a lot about this guy. Nick Saban, I know you have to be pleased to have him wearing Alabama crimson.
He brings a lot of experience to the program. He's a national champion. He's coached at the next level in the NFL. His experience, his poise, and his leadership is going to take us, like the other night when we were down going into the last minute of the game. His poise and his composure, I think, kind of trickled over to the players, and we were able to come out with a win.
All right, and John and Matt, let's ask you about Nick Saban. what do you think he brings to the table at Alabama? What do you think he can accomplish with the Crimson Tide?
Well, I'll start. I think obviously, you look at the way they've gotten off to the great start this season so far, 3-0, and then the way they played against Arkansas late, when you've got to have it, and a group of young players that the last couple of years have maybe not gotten those things done at the end of a game to get it done. Something is brewing over there in Tuscaloosa, and Coach Saban's got these guys in a position, and they're getting it done. They got it done in a conference game week 2 against Vanderbilt. And they certainly got it done in front of a huge atmosphere, great crowd against Arkansas, and boy, really a kickstart looks like could be for that Alabama team.
All right, quickly, John, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, he brings a lot of excitement to Alabama football. Those players can look at him in the locker room and know that he's won a national championship at LSU. So he brings a lot of credibility to that program right now.
All right, and coming up next on the End Zone 2, presented by OCH Sports Medicine Services, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start with Mississippi State and that little 1AA school out of North Carolina they're playing this weekend, the Gardner-Webb Running Bulldogs. Stay with us.